Hey guys, today I'll be walking you through my comprehensive TikTok ads guide, but first I have to share this crazy new tool that makes a professional dropshipping store way too easy. I literally add this intro just to tell you guys about it, so I hope that you can take advantage of this. So basically, I found access to a 100% free tool that will build you a professionally built Shopify dropshipping store loaded with 20 winning products in under 15 minutes. Now, this is an excellent way to get started in e-commerce and expedite your success. Now, this is a tool that I even personally use when I'm initially building out and testing a brand new store and new products. Now, I'm not getting anything from sharing this tool with you apart from the satisfaction of knowing that I'm able to provide value to you guys right here. Now, I'm currently working on a comprehensive guide on how to exactly use this tool, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Now, all right, guys, let's dive right into the video now. I hope you enjoy.
Alright, so now that you know how to do absolutely everything in terms of the setup, you know how to find winning products, you know what makes a winning product, and you know how to make ads, we are going to get into the juicy stuff now, which is actually setting up our campaigns on TikTok ads. Now, in this module, we're going to be going over my personal testing strategy. This is the best testing strategy in my opinion, because you can easily tell if your product has potential within only $50 of ad spend. Now, this is extremely cheap and allows you to launch a whole bunch of products without losing a whole bunch of money. So without further ado, let's dive right into the product testing strategy. So let's first get into the rationale behind actually testing a product. So testing a product means spending the least amount of money possible to see if there's any viability in the product. Basically, you're testing out the market. Now, it's easy to see if a product has potential after one day of ads and only $100 or even $50 of ad spend being spent. This is a little bit of just the campaign structure, and then after we go over this, we're gonna dive right into the ads manager, and then I'm gonna walk you guys through setting this up. So first, we're going to be launching a conversion campaign. You always want to launch a conversion campaign. And for our first day, we're just going to do a $50 daily budget. We're going to do a CBO campaign and optimize for complete payment. And then we're going to do one ad set, no targeting per creative, and then one ad set targeting per creative. And then we're gonna do 3 to 5 creatives. Then you should be left with 6 to 10 ad sets inside of your one campaign. Now let's dive right into the TikTok Ads Manager, and I'll show you how to set this all up. Okay, so now that we're in the TikTok Ads Manager, when you first make a new account, your account should look something like this. Or just under the campaign tab right there. You might be on the dashboard, so if you are, just click the campaign right there. We're just gonna dive right into the testing strategy that I structured and I gave you guys the outline of in the PowerPoint presentation, but we're actually gonna go through and build it together right here. We're just gonna come over to the top left here and click the create button right there, and then it's gonna ask us how do we wanna create our ads. We're always going to want to go custom mode. Simplified mode, it simply just sucks. So always go custom mode when you're doing this. Then what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go for website conversions. Product sales is really good for TikTok Shop, but when we're driving traffic straight to our Shopify store, every single time we're going to want to do website conversions. So now here's where you can just pop in a campaign name. We're not going to do smart performance campaign. I have found based off of my testing that these campaigns do not perform very well. So we're just going to leave that unticked, and we're just going to name this CBO test. Okay, so now this we're just going to leave, and since we're doing a CBO, which stands for Campaign Budget Optimization, we're just going to turn this on here, and then we're going to pop in the budget. So we're just going to throw $50 in there for the day. So now we're going to click continue, and then we're going to want to select our pixel. So what I recommend before actually doing this is connecting it to your Shopify store, and then it'll automatically create you a pixel. In this case, we don't have one created yet because this ad manager isn't linked to any Shopify store. Since this is just for an example, I'm just going to create one here really quick. All right, so I just set up a pixel here on one of my old Shopify stores that I ran before. So what we're going to want to do now is we're going to want to select our pixel, and then for optimization event, we're going to want to go straight to complete payment right here. Now it says no recent activity, but you can just ignore that. Don't worry about that. and then we're going to scroll down to placements. We're going to want to select the placements and choose TikTok only. And then under advanced settings here, we're going to want to turn off user comment and turn off video download. We don't want people to steal our content, and we also don't want people to call us out for drop shipping in the comment section there. So now when we go back to the testing strategy, we want to do one ad set per ad, no targeting, and then one ad set per ad, automatic targeting. Now, the manual targeting on TikTok just doesn't seem to perform. I've tried it countless different times on pretty much every single product that I've launched, and it's always been the least performing one by far. So I always do automatic and no targeting. So for this one, we're just gonna name it auto ad 1, for instance. So when we scroll down here, location, depending on where you're at, you will have a different countries available, but I always do United States or Canada, or if you can only do United States only is fine, but I usually just throw in Canada as well. For languages, I always stick to all. And then set time to run the ad group. I always start this at midnight for the next day or 11:59 of the day of. So we'll just set that right there. So and it's starting essentially at midnight the next day. You never want to start your ads like halfway through the day, especially when you're first testing. For some reason, it just messes them up. And then here, this is all fine. We're just gonna leave that at lowest cost. And under the scaling strategy in the next module, you'll see we do play around with some bid caps. So we're just gonna click next now. And then this brings us straight to the ads themselves. Again, this was an old store that I was using, so it was called the Scrunch Sack. So what you're gonna wanna do here is just upload the name right there and then put in a little logo there so you can do whatever you'd like and then just click confirm. And then here's where you're gonna wanna upload all of your creatives. You're just gonna click upload and drag and drop them into here. Since this is a brand that I ran before, I already have some in here, so I already have 4 creatives here, so I can show you exactly how to set up these advertisements for testing. So what we do is we just click one of those right there, and since we're only doing one creative per ad group and we're split testing our creatives along with our targeting methods, we're only going to choose one there. And then for our text, we can run anything. If you're running any sort of sale, you can have it there. But for this example, the perfect makeup bag, get access to everything all at once. We could even add a 50% off sale on now at the very end for whatever offer you're running. Or it could be buy one, get one free sale on now, or anything that you'd like. And then we just pop in our URL at the bottom here. You're never gonna want to check this box because this essentially allows your ad to show up on the TikTok ad creative center. So it allows dropshippers to steal your advertisement. So you would definitely want to click that box off there. And then we're just gonna click submit once we enter our URL. So I'm gonna enter the URL here and then show you guys how to quickly duplicate it for all of our different creatives. Okay, so now that we've have our one ad group and one ad inside of that ad group created, we're gonna wanna head back into our campaign here, right at the beginning, CBO test. We're gonna wanna click into it. And then under our ad group here, we're just gonna wanna copy it one time. So unfortunately, you can only really do it once. So we're just gonna name this one like auto ad 2 and then click the copy button. Then all of this will stay the exact same here, same as usual. And then unfortunately, we do need to change the time every single time. So we'll quickly change that there. And then we're just gonna click next. All right, so now that we've submitted our campaign, we're just gonna come back to the main campaign section here. We're just gonna click into it. And we have our one ad set here or ad group. And then what we're gonna wanna do is duplicate it one time and then just name it auto ad 2 and then copy that over there. All of this will stay the exact same. So it just speeds up the process by copying it over. All we need to do is change the time again down here to 11:59 p.m. And then we're just gonna click continue to ads. What we're gonna wanna do is just when we have the video here, we're just gonna click update and then add from library. And then we're just gonna add our ad 2 in there and then do the exact same thing and click publish. And then we have our second ad group being published inside there. And now, as you can see, we have 2 ads and 2 ad groups. So you're gonna wanna do this for all of your ads when it comes to the auto ones, and then when it comes to the no targeting ones, which we want also, I'll walk you through that. So we're just gonna click copy, and then we're just gonna name this one no targeting, add one, and it's pretty much the same thing, but I'm just gonna show you how to set up the no targeting campaign. So we're back here again, and instead of automatic targeting right here under the targeting section, we're just gonna wanna click custom targeting here. And then under here, we're gonna wanna leave all of this blank. So in terms of interests and behaviors, we don't wanna put anything in there. The only thing that we're gonna mess around with is the gender. So for this product, it was, a makeup bag, right? So it's obviously gonna appeal to females. So we're just gonna go females only, but that's the only sort of targeting that you wanna do. TikTok has insane optimization in terms of their videos and finding the right audience for you. So we wanna give TikTok the most amount of leeway that we possibly can to find your best audience. We just need to change the time every single time that we duplicate this, and we just need to duplicate it for every single ad set, for every single different creative that we have. And then we will be left with a bunch of ad sets in our campaign there. So we'll just click publish. Now don't worry, you're not spending $50 per campaign, you're spending $50 for all of them. So TikTok will distribute your $50 budget across all of the different ad sets and try to find the best performing one for you. So that's really all it is when it comes to setting up the campaign. It's really just rinse and repeat of those steps that I just showed you, of duplicating the campaign and either changing the targeting or just changing the creative. I will see you guys back on the other side in the PowerPoint. Okay, so now that you guys have set up your campaign, here comes the important part, which is actually analyzing your metrics to see if your product actually has viability and if it has potential to be a winning product. So here are the most important metrics to analyze. Obviously, number one is the sales. If you're making money and you're profitable, that is a great sign. Continue to test. Continue to run that same testing campaign for a couple more days, and even maybe raise the budget up to $100 a day. And if you are still profitable, continue to raise the budget until you want to go into the next module, which will be the scaling strategies. Next is the add to carts. Add to carts actually tell you a lot. So if you're getting a lot of add to carts, but you're making no sales, that doesn't mean your product is necessarily a loser. You could do lots of things. If I'm getting lots of add to carts but no sales, it's usually a website issue or a pricing/offer issue. So I'd switch up your pricing, switch up your offer, try new different variations, or maybe even try different product images or a different product description. Put some more effort into your product page because you are very close to a winner. That obviously shows you that there's lots of interest in your product, but people just aren't pushed to buy your product then and there. Next is your cost per click, CPMs and CTR. CPM stands for cost per mil, which essentially tells you your price of your advertisements, and your CTR is your click-through rate. How many people view your ad are actually clicking on it. These three metrics are all interconnected, and we'll dive into each of these metrics individually and their importance on the next couple of slides. The most important metric is always sales and add to carts, as I mentioned before. If you have a 2x ROAS, that means, if you spent $50 on ads and you made $100 in sales, that's a 2x return on your ad spend. Let the ads run for another 2 to 3 days before scaling. Now, if you have a higher than 2 ROAS, like if you have a 3 or 4, instantly double the budget. Run $100 a day, and if you continue to get those results, continue to raise the budget as high as you possibly can and as much as you are comfortable with. Now, if you have a $5 to $8 add to cart but no sales, change your offer up. So I mentioned this before, $5 to $8 add to cart is very viable in terms of early stage testing. It does show that there is a lot of interest, so you need to change up your offer or change up your web design or product description. Now, you may have ads that aren't performing on paper, so in the next couple slides here, I'll be breaking down the cost per click, CPM, and CTR. Now, they may not be performing on paper from what I tell you, but if they're converting and they're making you money, it doesn't matter. Sales trumps all in terms of metric. If you are making money, continue to scale your ads, even if they're outside of the benchmarks that I mentioned in the next couple slides. First up, your CPM or cost per mil. Now, the advantage of running ads on TikTok is getting more eyeballs on your product per dollar that you spend. Now, This essentially describes CPM. It's the amount of money in a dollar format that you are spending to get 1,000 views on your advertisement. So on TikTok, we want our CPMs under $15. Anything above $15, TikTok does not like our advertisement and they're not showing it to a broad audience. If your CPMs are over $25, see the troubleshooting module because something is seriously wrong and you definitely need to fix that. It could potentially just be something as easy as switching up your creatives or switching up the ad account that you're running them on. Now, your CPM is ultimately a reflection of your niche and creative combined. If you're in a competitive niche, you'll have higher CPMs. If you have a bad creative, you'll have higher CPMs, and vice versa. If you're in an uncompetitive niche or an untapped niche, your CPMs will be lower. Same with if you have a good creative, your CPMs will be lower. A good creative, low CPMs, bad creative, high CPMs. So again, the importance of having a good creative. Now, CTR is your click-through rate, and it's the percentage of people who click on your ad after viewing it. Pretty simple. Think of your CTR as how effective your advertisement is at selling your product and how interested people are in your product. This is a great way to see, if people actually like your product and they're actually interested enough to click on the advertisement and go to your website. If it's a dud of a product, you'll have an extremely low CTR. So if you have less than a 0.9% CTR on your ad, you're kind of somewhat hitting the wrong audience, or you have a bad advertisement, or the product itself is bad. So try switching up your audience. Usually if you're running the testing strategy, which we just went over, which is the no targeting and auto targeting, TikTok will be finding your audience for you. So you don't really need to worry about that part of it, but maybe try switching up your creatives or your marketing angle. But if your CTR is above a 0.9, you can still improve your ads. 1% is pretty standard when it comes to TikTok ads, but if you have, a 2%, a 3%, your ads are really killing it and you have an amazing product on your hands. Next is CPC, which is your cost per click, and this is one of the most important metrics. It's derived from both your CPM and CTR. Basically, the target CPC is less than 50 cents. If it's slightly higher with a higher ticket item, like maybe it's a $60 price tag, then it's fine. But for most products, under 50 cents is the sweet spot. Now, if your cost per click is over 1.5, it's extremely difficult to be profitable. Now, this is where essentially analyzing your ads is a little bit more of an art than a science, because if you have extremely low CPMs, your CTR or your click-through rate will be a lot lower just because so many more people, you're hitting such a more broad audience on your product. So your CTR will be lower. It'll probably be even like, I've had a CTR of like a 0.5%, but they're extremely profitable, and my CPC was only 30 cents because my CPMs were so low. So make sure that really the CPC trumps all of the other metrics. If your metrics aren't hitting the benchmarks in terms of your CPM or CTR, don't worry about it. Look at your CPC, and if this is inside of this range, then you have a good product, and I would continue to run those advertisements. So that is all for this module. I hope you enjoyed, and good luck testing products.